It's Manchester City versus Tottenham Hotspur at the ETIHAD Stadium tomorrow evening, 8 o'clock kickoff. Welcome to the preview show. Good evening and welcome to Paxton Road TV preview show, Manchester City versus Tottenham Hotspur at the ETIHAD Stadium tomorrow in the Premier League. And boy, is it a massive game for Tottenham Hotspur. Joining me tonight to preview the game is the one and only Sam Spurs for Life. Good evening, Sam. How are you?
I'm tired. I am, I guess, nervous because, we've got a tough game tomorrow. But, we just need Spurs to turn up and let's see what they do. I've not seen the press conference, and you might tell me a bit more. I don't know what Conte's saying, but he and the team need to perform tomorrow. They do.
Totally agree with you. After that performance on Sunday, I think majority of Tottenham fans, majority of the media, everyone, Conte, players, I don't think anyone was happy with that performance. Nothing new to us though, the fans who are at every game and we see how we play first half, and this was nothing new. We've said it all along, Sam. You've said it, I've said it, Sean said it, a lot of our fellow people in the comment section have said it as well. You can not give a 2-0 lead to the likes of Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool, Man Cities, because against the lower clubs you can come back. Against the big clubs you can't come back. And that was the case on Sunday, because no matter how well we played second half, we was never going to come back from a 2-goal deficit against quality teams like that. You agree with that?
Yeah, it's going to catch up with you. You know, we've seen that Spurs turn up in the second half. They did to a degree against Arsenal, but 2-0 down. You can't keep trying to get back from 2-0. Yeah, we had some injuries, and I'm hoping that obviously with the return, let's hope of Bentancur, Kulusevski should be fit now he will be starting, I would imagine. Richarlison, again, got a bit of game time. So we should have a fairly decent bench, and we're going to need it. We're going to need all them players to perform, because City, they can change their starting 11 with another 11, and it's probably just as good. You know, they've obviously got some key players. We've got some key players, and it is going to be a battle of, you know, can we match them in terms of their energy? I think we can. We just got to be able to beat that press, because that press is exactly what Arsenal did, obviously, with Mr. Coneman. I'm now going to call him Mr. Coneman, because I was told that I just can't. I was disrespectful calling him Coneman because he's top of the league. But that's what he was when he was at City. And now he's obviously established and talking about Arteta here. So just my point was very much in the same mold. So we've seen the blueprint. We've done well against City previously. I just worry about the confidence of the players. If they go a goal down, we have to score first.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, we're looking to the ins and outs as we go through the show. Just like to welcome everyone who's watching. David Clark's in the house. Good evening, David Clark, and good evening, Kevin Murray. I will go through your comments as well, guys. Please interact with us as well. I think it's because it's quite late. We've not got that many, but hopefully we'll get
people
more.
People watching the game as well, aren't they? The United game, I imagine.
Yeah, and they're watching the United game as well, who are winning 1-0, by the way. So, as David has pointed out in the comment section, they're firing away from us now. 8 points at the moment, so it is what it is. But you know what? We've got a big game coming up tomorrow. Let's look into that. Let's go straight into it. Manchester City versus Tottenham Hotspurs, like I've said, at the ETIHAD Stadium. So it's an away day for us as well. Right, let's look at the table. So we've got them at the top, coasting away, 47 points. Manchester City on 39 points. Both played the same amount of games. Then you've got Newcastle on 38. Man United on 38 as it stands, but now Man United are on 41. So as it stands, Man United are second, and they were on 33 points. So we're already 5 points behind Newcastle. Looking at that table, Sam, does it look like we're going to finish in the top 4? Because it's looking bleaker and bleaker as it goes along.
The only thing I can say about tomorrow is just look at the form of both the teams that are playing tomorrow. City, 2 wins in 5.
Yeah.
Us, 2 wins in 5. Pretty much the same record, just a different, combination. They're at home. I would imagine they've had a pretty decent home record. City haven't been the City that we know as of last season. They're trying to go into a bit of transition with Haaland. They're playing a different way. Maybe they haven't quite got to grips with a target number 9, but then Haaland had scored X amount of goals early part of the season, and it's maybe just a little bit of a down moment for them. World Cup's kicked in, players maybe a bit. I don't know, I just don't know what Man City are going to do tomorrow. They could turn up and absolutely smash us, or we could go there like we've done before and put up a fight and get a result, because tomorrow we need a result if we are going to be challengers for this top 4. Now, obviously, a lot of people know what I've said, and I'm still going to say, I said that with chess because I do think, as we've seen, the season has been weird. Arsenal at the top, that's weird. But in terms of the other teams, there's so many teams in and around. Chelsea, look where Chelsea are, look where Liverpool are. We just can't let them lot come back into this now, Sid.
No, do you know what? I agree with you, but it's just the way we're playing at the moment. It's just not looking. I'm not looking confident. To be fair, it's not look. Players aren't confident. Conte seems to be not himself now. On the touchline, ranting and raving and stuff like that, and it's just getting, I think, beyond us now, because you look at the teams above us, they're going from strength to strength, and they've got the power, if they need to go and invest in January. We're almost more than halfway through this window now, and we're still struggling we're still 5 million short on Pedro Porro. We're still looking at Trossard, 13 million short of what they want. So it's not looking like we are going to get anyone. And now Conte's turned around, and from what we've heard, the board are not turning around and saying, we're not confident Conte's going to sign, so we're not going to give him the money. So do you know what? I don't know what's going on. Honestly, I do not know what's going on.
Well, look at that top 10.
Yeah.
Us, City and Chelsea in the last 5 games have acquired 7 points. Everybody else have acquired at least, 9 points? I'm looking at there. Where is it? Yeah, 9 points. So minimum 9. So again, we can't be in this top 10. We're 5th.
Nope.
We deserve to be 5th because we were higher up, but we haven't performed in terms of that first half. It's so key for that first goal. I can't stress enough how important it is for us to score first tomorrow, if we score at all.
I totally agree with you, mate. This tomorrow's going to be about a first half performance, and that's going to dictate the game. Because
100%
at Man City, at the Etihad, if you're not going to play in the first half, City will pick you out, and City, the worst it could get for us is we could get an absolute hammering if we let them play after, but let's look at the form guide. Like you said, like you mentioned, Sam. So it's basically 1-2, lost 2, and drawn 1, both the teams. So the last 2 games, City lost to Man United 2-1. We lost to Arsenal 2-0. Chelsea, they beat 1-0. We beat Crystal Palace 4-0. They drew with Everton. We lost to Villa 2-0. They beat Leeds 3-1. We drew with Brentford 2-2. They lost to Brentford. We won against Leeds 4-3. So looking at that form guide, and I know you've already touched on it, it's quite weird, isn't it?
It's strange because if you look at the home form of City in those last 5 games, they haven't won. They've played 2 games out of 5 at home. They've drawn against Everton, who are battling relegation, and a Brentford team who, we know that they can play, but away from their home ground, they're not quite the same as they were. So those 2 results show me that there is a potential for us to go there and stick it on them, particularly if Pep, as Conte is stubborn. He's going to continue to play his inverted fullbacks. He's going to continue to do all the things that we've seen him because he wants this to work. He's trying to play a different way. My concern is that something will happen in terms of the players' mentality, and they'll just like, bam, right. And it all comes together for City. It needs to come together for us. Bentancur, if he starts, is a key. I'm hoping, and we'll probably touch on it, that we get 3 in midfield, and we can talk about the team in a minute if you want.
Yeah. I mean, you've just said it. They've not won at home. They've drawn 1 and they've lost 1 in the last 5 games, right, at home. Whereas we've won 1 and drawn 1 away from home. And so going into it, if you're going to go on form, sort of home and away, then we should be going into this game quite high because we've had 4 points out of 6, whereas they've only had 1 point out of 6 at home. But I know you've said it, they've not won at home, but it's Dr. Tottenham going to Man City. And if there's any club that you want to play, it's Tottenham, because you know what's going to happen, don't you?
I'm trying not to think about it because, again, look at the number of goals that City have scored. It's unusually low in terms of, even in their results that they've won. They beat Chelsea, who's not really doing that well this season, only 1-0. You drew with Everton, 1-1. You know, this the Leeds result, I guess you could say 3-1 away to Leeds. Leeds play a certain way. You know, if United picks United, if City pick you off, they can score their many goals. They haven't been firing on all since, even though they've got a robot in Haaland who is, you know, their goal scorer. They seem to be trying to play through him. If they revert back to, and a lot of people saying in terms of what Haaland does, he takes up a lot of space in the middle. He's not as fluid as maybe someone like Jesus was, and that's causing the problems in that midfield area for potentially people like Bernardo Silva and Gundogan and De Bruyne, whoever's playing in midfield. They may not have the same space that they had before, so they're trying to play a different way. We've got to take advantage of that, because I know that Conte, I know that Pep, he's as stubborn as Conte, and he's going to say my way wins, and this is his new style of playing. We got to get that first goal.
Yeah, and the problem for me is he's got the luxury of picking players, moving them around, whereas we haven't. Plus, as much as stubborn he is, he's still got quality to call on, whereas we haven't. So Conte hasn't got the quality that Pep has. And again, tomorrow, I think it's going to be a matter of tactics and who's going to win the battle in tactics. Pep already knows how Conte is going to line up, right? What Conte is now going to be thinking is how Pep going to line up, because Pep can swap. He can put Rodri at centre back if he wants to. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. He can do all sorts of madness, which he's known for doing. Whereas Pep will be sat in the dressing room and all the coaching staff will be thinking, we know exactly how Tottenham are going to play. This is how they're going to set up. This is how we're going to play. And that's my concern for tomorrow. Looking at the season so far, Sam. So, they're second, well, third. We're fifth. 12, we've won 10. They've won 12. We've both drawn 3 games each. They've lost 3 games. We've lost 6. And I know this is the bit that you like to concentrate on a lot. Average goals scored per game, 2.56, as opposed to our 1.95. They're conceding 1 goal per game. We're conceding 1.42. Clean sheet, 7 to 5. And this is the bit for me, I think. 3 chances created per match, even though they're not playing well. And we're creating 1.63. So,
this is sorry, go on, finish first.
I was going to say, what stands out to you there, and is there a cause of concern?
Yes. So when we played United, very similar in terms of those chances created. I saw that Man United, they were below us at the time. Their chances created were around about 2 point something. And all it means is if they take their chances, because they will create chances, they're likely to be in the lead. You know, we have a second half performance. I don't know how many goals City have scored in the first half, but they, again, if I go by how Arsenal start games, they start very quickly. And I would imagine that City at home, crowd behind them, they're going to start very quickly. They're going to put it on us. We have to play. And as I said, we've talked about Spurs on the front foot. This is not the game where you want to see Spurs. Well, I say that you don't want to see them on the front foot. I would love to see them on the front foot, but I just think that we haven't got the personnel to play the same way as City. But what we can do is put the right players in the right formation to play a certain way. We have got enough killers in our team to score goals. It's whether or not we can not make stupid mistakes at the back, keep a clean sheet, which is going to be difficult. If you start with that, we've got an opportunity to score. We've got goal scorers in our team. At least one good goal scorer in our team.
At least one good scorer. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you here. Right, just before we move on to the other couple of bits, like I said, thank you everyone who's joining us. Please subscribe, like, and follow the channel, Paxton Road TV, and also our sister PRTV, which hopefully we'll be moving on to. David Clark, hello from Leicester. No crazy score predictions tonight, please. I think now we've hit reality now, haven't we? So we're not talking with our hearts anymore now. Now we're gonna actually think about our heads now because the heart's gone. They've taken our heart. They've blitzed it, mate. Mel Gibson in Braveheart said, what's the phrase again? He said in Braveheart. I forgot his phrase now. Oh, you can take away my dignity, but you will never take away my freedom. Unfortunately, they've taken away our dignity and they've taken away our freedom. So we're not Bravehearts anymore. Kevin Murray, hello from Ireland. Good evening, Kevin. And then they're talking about Ericsson, which we will get to in a minute. And also this one, David Clark one, he's saying here, Spurs coaches on the podcast said it's Spurs players not keeping their shape. That's why we conceded 2 goals against a team who passed it about 400 times. Man City passed it 723 times. So, as what's his name? Vic Reeves said, it's going to be, I'm so dizzy, my head is spinning, because City will just play us off the park.
Well, to be honest, a lot of those 700 passes they had in their last, was it the last game they're talking about when they played? Was it United and they lost 2-1?
Yeah.
Again, depends on where their passes are. If most of them are in their defensive third, and it's between Ake, Stones, or whoever's playing at centre back, I'm not bothered. Yeah. They can do that all day. We have to have a mid to low block tomorrow. If we press and we get it wrong, they'll play through us. The same for them, though. If they press us and we can get round the press, there will be acres of space in behind. But we have to play the game to be able to do that. Now, we're talking about touching on the team. For this game, I don't understand. No, okay, let's take it back. I would like to see Conte play Basuma, Højbjerg, and Bentancur in a 3. Maybe have Højbjerg just behind, or maybe Basuma just behind and the 2 in front.
Yeah.
But that way we're able to control, or at least have more control in the middle. The other thing it will do is if you play 2 up front, you've then got 2 options on the bench. Now, if it was me, I'll be playing Son and Kulusevski. Kulusevski just in the one behind, and Kane as the straight number 9. And then you've got your wing backs, whoever plays. Our wing backs, apart from Perisic, are not of the quality that we need. But we have to stop City just playing for us. Now, I know that they like to play in wide areas as well, but I would hope that with a back 3 and the wing backs coming back, that you can deal with that. The forwards are going to have to come back and help out. It's going to be hard work all over the pitch tomorrow.
And what you're saying as well is by playing Basuma, Bentancur and Højbjerg, right? Maybe Bentancur can play further forward a little bit. Then you got Son and Kulu on the wings. I want Harry Kane tomorrow to play as a number 9, like you just said. I don't want him coming back into that middle, because I think if Kane plays as a 9 up top tomorrow, we will cause them problems. Yeah, he will cause them problems.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, if he starts coming back into the middle, right, and that's going to be the game plan, then I'm sorry, but he's going to have, he would then have to start Richarlison as an out-and-out striker, because against Man City, we need to have an out-and-out striker to play. We cannot have Kane coming back. Otherwise, we got problems. And Son is another problem for me. The question is, does he drop him and play Gil tomorrow? Or does he drop him and play Richarlison and Kulusevski tomorrow? These are the kind of questions now I'm asking Conte. And I want to know what Conte is going to come up with, what solutions he's going to come up with, because Son hasn't delivered at all. Big games he's gone missing. Small games he's gone missing. So does he now take a gamble against Manchester City? Massive game for us again. Or does he want to lose that game so that we don't let them lot above us take more advantage? It's a big question.
Yeah. So the problem with when he starts Son is, and Son's not on form, we all know that. Son scored in 2 games this season, one being a hat-trick off the subs bench. The problem with starting Son is he doesn't want to take him off. So even if Son, as we've seen, has been playing absolutely pants in comparison to what we know he can do, he wasn't the first sub to be made on the game that we went to on Sunday. I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe that he would take off. Was it Pape Sarr? Was it Doherty first? I can't remember.
Doherty first.
And left Son played the whole game, didn't he?
Yes.
He played the whole game from what I remember. Again, give him a jolt. If he's on the bench, you know that Son has it in him. Whether he's got the form, I don't know. But if he starts and doesn't play well, I don't see Conte changing it. I don't see him taking him off. So my point is, play someone who's at least got a bit more form. Kulusevski, if you play 2 up front, it's going to be less likely that Harry Kane's going to come back. I personally believe we're going to play a 3-4-3 with Hojbjerg and Benton.
Yeah.
We can stop them playing through the middle. City can play through us in the middle. They can play through us on the wide. We are going to have to be defensively sapped.
100%. Totally agree with you. Right. You'll like this. Not a lot, but you'll like this. Head to head.
I don't like it. Oh.
Okay. Well, not head to head, but the last 5 games. Manchester City 2, Tottenham 3. Spurs 1, Man City 0. Man City 3, Spurs 0. Spurs 2, Man City 0. Spurs 2, Man City 0.
Why have you done this, Sid? Why have you done this? So we've beaten Man City 4 times in the last 5 matches.
Yep.
Dr. Tottenham, welcome. That's all I can say now. It's going Dr. Tottenham.
We've won 1-1 at their place in the last 5 meetings, and we've beaten them 3 times at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, White Hart Lane, or Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So I said to you, you'll like this, but not a lot. Looking at it, depending how you want to look at it, whether you want to be positive or negative. Head against Man City, we're on fire.
This is what I'm saying. I don't know any other team who could put up the last 5 games against City and say that they've won 4 and lost 1 against City.
Yeah.
We've won 4 games. 2-0, 2-0. We lost the 3-0 at home. Fair enough. We done beat them 1-0 and then we beat them away. 4 times we've beaten City in 5 games. Yeah. That to me is like, oh, I'd be looking at this. If we were on form, I'd look at this. Yeah, man, we're going to do some bits. We're at least going to perform. But I don't know what Conte's heart's saying. Did you see the press conference today? I've heard that there's some, body language wise. I don't know if he's still, he mentioned obviously about the people that have died recently close to him. That's tough in itself.
Yeah.
But do we just keep using that as the excuse? I know it's tough, and I don't want to put anybody in that situation to lose 3 close friends of yours in what, 6 months, 7 months, whatever it was. But he's got a job to do. Ultimately, we can't feel sorry for ourselves now. My only positive about Spurs at the moment is that we have had some significant injuries. Players that would have made the first team, i.e. Bentancur, Kulusevski, possibly even Richarlison. We've got that midfield where we could change it. And we've seen the likes of Pape Sarr now that we can maybe even rely on him to come on. Gil has shown a little bit of a cameo. So there is players on the bench, Sid. It's whether or not they are mentally strong enough to deal with what they're going to go through now. Because another loss,
it's a problem.
It's a problem. It's not just a problem because of the losses, because I think, there's lots of people, lots of teams, Liverpool, Chelsea, even City themselves haven't picked up as many points as they would like. But we just look so devoid of confidence when we go a goal down. Second half, I don't see how we can go 2-0 down against City and expect to come back and win that game 3-2. I don't see how that happens. So, yeah, tight in the first half, play a low to mid-block, catch them on the transition, which is why I think we're going to play a 3-4-3 with, Kane, Kulusevski and Son as the front 3.
Let's have a look at the head-to-head. So,
look at that, Sid. Look at that.
We've played 50 games, okay? 50 games, of which 7 have been drawn. Total wins, Manchester City 16, Tottenham Hotspur 27. They've won 10 at home. We've won 16 at home. They've won 6 away. We've won 11 away. So again, looking at that positivity, the vibes, we've lost 1 in 5 against them, and we've got 27 wins, of which 11 are away. So if you went up to someone, a neutral fan who's been out of this for the whole season, not had a word about what's going on at Tottenham and Man City, and you presented that to them, they'd be like, wow, this Spurs team, wow, they've done City 4 times and they've won 11 games away. My money's on Man City. My money's on Tottenham, because they're the team that can do damage to Man City. Are you feeling more confident now looking at that?
Well, right, okay. So if Conte is motivated tomorrow and the players are, he can use this sort of things. He can say, look, we beat them last time at home. We beat them 3-2. You know, we beat them at our place. We did the double over them last season, guys. He shows them this record. Not that they would probably know this already. We've won at their place 11 times. Now, some of that's going to be going back to times before Pep, obviously. But even in the Pep times, even before, Conte, we were still getting results at City, you know. So it's like Pep has maybe we're their bogey team. I don't know. I just hope that we make it the ETIHAD tomorrow. Not the ETIHAD, the ETIHAD. That's what I want to see tomorrow.
ETIHAD as well.
The ETIHAD.
That's right. Right. I've got one more slide for you, and then I'm gonna come to the prediction. Let's have a quick look at everyone who's in the comment section again. Thank you very much. Kevin Murray. Yes, Sam. Let's be positive. Play ugly. Don't let them have any room in their faces. David Clark is saying here that means you have 13 players on the pitch. Good evening to our Mr. Hurl. Sean Hurl is not well, so wish you all the best. What we want, we don't get. That is 100%. Conte knows, Mourinho knows, every manager that has been at the club knows what they want, what they really, really want. They want to really want to buy some players, but it doesn't happen, does it?
No.
Kevin Murray saying here, hard work, getting well paid, bloody run. That's right. I agree with you. Audio Artisan, good evening. I have a feeling Saul will keep his place. That's an interesting one, Sam. Do you think Saul will keep his place, or does he?
Okay. So, sorry. If Saul keeps his place, I wouldn't have a problem with it if they play 3 in midfield. That's the only way, because we've seen that Saul played well against Arsenal in comparison to the rest of the players. I think I gave him a 7, just because, you know, his first start, Arsenal, North London derby, and he looked comfortable. He was under pressure because we didn't have enough players in the middle. We kept on having to deal with 4 players at a time. Partey, Odegaard, Xhaka, and then when Zinchenko came into the central areas. And that was what it was, 4 players. Sometimes I'd even throw, you know, what's his name, Martinelli. The rotation in their team was what got us, because we just couldn't maintain any sort of decent possession. And then when we did, we gave the ball away too quickly because they pressed us and they harried us and they forced us. That's going to be the blueprint for tomorrow. That's what City will do. So they must, if Conte's not learnt from that Arsenal game, and we see... I don't want to say anymore.
Okay. Sean Hurley saying here, Richarlison must play ahead of Son, which I never thought I'd say at the start of this season. And then countering that, Audio Artisan, Son does have form against City. So again, like you said, as like what Sean is saying as well, I probably would start with Richarlison ahead of Son. I'd even start with Gill ahead of Son. But if Conte thinks he's got form against Man City, against Arsenal, he played him, even though he flopped in the previous game. Conte's, like you said, Sam, you've already said it, Conte's got a thing for Son starting him. And if he starts him, he ain't subbing him. So it's going to be a problem, unfortunately. But
well, put it this way. If he starts Son, he has to play a 3 up front, because I don't think he can drop Kulusevski to play a 2 up front with Kane and Son. So if Son plays, which I believe is very, very likely, that means we have to have 3 up front.
Yeah,
I would prefer to see a left-sided player as opposed to Richarlison playing on the left side, because I think he's better through the centre areas, although he can play off the left. But for Brazil, look what he was doing. He was just doing bits. I even think, personally, If you had Son and Richarlison on the bench and you started Gill with Kulusevski and Kane, your bench is stronger. You've got more attacking options on the bench. If Bentancur starts, then you're likely to have, if you have a two in the middle, Højbjerg and Bentancur, which means you've got Sarr on the bench, you've got Skip on the bench, you've got Basuma on the bench. Those three players in themselves, you know, we've talked about Basuma before. That's a good, strong midfield that you can. But Conte didn't make the first sub until 67 minutes on Sunday. Well, we had an atrocious first half. So I don't see it changing. I don't see that aspect changing. We have to hope, and I'll say it for probably the fourth or fifth time, we score first.
Yes, totally agree. Totally agree. David Clark, I would drop Son and play Kane and Richarlison up front as a pair with Kulu in the number 10 role. That's a good option.
And again, that's another, you know, if we're talking about things that which coaches would do, progressive coaches, someone like the Ten Hag might try and think, because that's what they did. What they did against City is they made sure that Fred just marked De Bruyne out the game. Everywhere he went, he was followed because they had three in midfield. If we've got two in midfield, we can't do that. You're asking a forward player to do that, and we're not going to do that. So we are going to see Conte versus Pep in a stubbornness contest. Whoever's the most stubborn, and I don't know which one of them two is the most stubborn, because Pep has obviously got form for just wanting to play his way, Conte as well. It just comes down to who has got the better players, and obviously City have. You know, if City have got the better players and they play to their ability, they should win the game. But football's football. So let's hope that we have a come on here tomorrow and we say, oh, look at all that we talked about. Yeah,
this is it. David Clark, the big difference between us, Man United and Newcastle, they only have to score one goal to win because their defending is superior to ours. I agree. That's the problem, isn't it? When you've got a keeper that's making mistakes, when you've got defenders that are making mistakes, that's costing us games, then that's a problem.
Can I ask you a question? One last question before we move on to the last bit. Would you drop Lloris for this game?
Would I drop Lloris for this game? My answer is no. And the reason is we've got a number 2 who hasn't played enough games. Okay, he played for Southampton, yes, but he's not played enough games to come into a game like Man City and have the defenders and everybody else have confidence in him. I don't know how confident Fraser Forster is, but other teams have done it. City have done it, Arsenal have done it, United have done it, Liverpool have done it. They've all done it where they've brought in a keeper who's even less superior, let's say, than Fraser Forster. And they've tried. If they get beat, they get beat. If they win, they win. Sometimes that keeper comes and wins them the game. Personally, I wouldn't drop him because of that. But if Conte's got the balls and if Conte's got the Conte ball, make that decision tomorrow. Drop him and put Forster in because can't do any worse than what he did in the North London derby. And if Forster made a mistake yesterday or tomorrow and we lose, fans won't be as harsh on him as making a mistake against your bitter rivals in a North London derby and losing that game because of your mistake. So
in both the North London derbies, mistakes by Lloris led to goals.
Yeah.
And both at times when it was key. So remember when it was halftime, I think we were 2-1 down to Arsenal, were we? We were 2-1 down at home?
I think we were.
And then we came out the second half. We looked like, right, because we got we got the goal back just before half-time, I think, I remember. Yeah. And like, we was going into the second half thinking, if we can nick this first goal. And then what happens? Lloris spills it out, and I can't remember who scored, but they went 3-1 up, and that was it. Game was done.
Would you drop him?
Yes, I would, because the point, I'm not because I don't think Forster's probably a better keeper, although it's questionable at times in terms of who's better shot stopping, because he's a big lad, is Forster.
Yeah.
But it's the confidence. If something goes wrong again tomorrow with Lloris or with the back three or whatever it is, and we make mistakes that lead to goals, then what? You're going to just keep persisting like he's persisting with Son. You can't have too many players out of form in a team and expect to beat Manchester City. Son is out of form. I don't believe Lloris is in great form. No. Our wing backs, Sessegnon was awful. Doherty wasn't much better. You look at the midfield on Sunday. Højbjerg, again, we have to give him a bit of credit in the bank because he's been playing well for us, but he was off. Dyer, not great. If we have 4, 5, 6 players who are not performing tomorrow, what do you think is going to happen? I know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
Everybody's got to be on it. Everybody's got to be on it. And you can't carry passengers. Son has been a passenger
all season.
He's our captain, but if you make mistakes like that, which he's done and leads to goals, when I watched the game Sunday, I watched the players' body language. They looked at him and went, oh. It was like they went, no again. And they just went like that and walked back to the centre circle. And that, no confidence in him.
No. Sean Hurley saying here, guys, where am I going? I've lost this. Oh, yeah. There you go. City played a reserve in the League Cup final against us. So this is the thing. Them kind of managers will risk a goalkeeper if they have to. I mean, you got Edison, yeah. He didn't get dropped because he was playing poor. The manager just decided to put a younger keeper in, and he done well.
Sean just put a point in. It was 1-1 at half time. Yeah, that's right. It was 1-1, and that's where we was going and thinking that we could have, at their gaff. But what happened was, as soon as the second half started, pretty much we spilled one out, and it's a goal to us. So I know.
David Clark, when will Spurs fans get it that Lloris is toast? He was finished 2 years ago. It sums it up. Did you see Dyer's look when Lloris fluffed that ball into the net? It was priceless.
I looked at all of the players when I was there, and they all just was like, it was almost like they just went, oh, collective, oh God.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, him and Lloris and Son are the two players, no matter how bad they're playing, I just don't see Conte dropping. I just don't see Conte dropping them two. As much as we all want them to be dropped, I just don't see it. That's why I said I would like to, but I just don't think Conte will. So, coming up to the prediction in 1 second, but tomorrow, it's a battle of the top 2 strikers in the Premiership. Appearances 17 for Haaland, 21 goals. Appearances 19 by Harry Kane, 15 goals. One is being likened to a robot. No words can express any other words to describe him. Blah, 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 blah. The one on the right, they're not talking about at all, even though Harry Kane is only 6 goals behind Haaland in a team that are not playing good football at all. Yeah. So tomorrow, I think both strikers, I think Kane's a little bit more on form than Haaland. Who do you think is going to win the battle tomorrow out of these two? Or if anything?
In my opinion, and this is my opinion, I think it's easier to stop Haaland from producing than it is Harry Kane. Haaland doesn't get involved in any link-up play. If you watch what he does when the ball's on the right-hand side, he drifts over to the left, just on the left-hand side of the 6-yard box, and that's where he is. If it's the ball's on the left, he does the same thing on the right-hand side of the 6-yard box. He gets into areas where he's expecting the ball to be. Now, when you play 3 at the back, there's less space. It's even more, it should be even, not easy, it should be more of a control aspect because you've got 3 centre-backs, so you should be able to block the spaces and also be able to get a man on him quickly if and when he gets into that box area. So they can't make mistakes. They can't switch off. They've got to know where he is. But the 3 at the back, if they play with Haaland as a central striker, which they will, and they'll have their 2 wide players, we can deal with Haaland. I think it's harder to deal with Harry Kane because of the fact that he can drift into midfield. He can then spray ball. Don't see Haaland doing any of that 25-yard, 30-yard pass. He doesn't do it. He's there to score goals. So stopping the supply, or at least stopping him from getting the space in the box, you'll stop his goals. That's what's happened. People have worked that out. Now, City will up their game, and if they do get it right and we get it wrong, he'll score.
Yeah. And I think the way our defense lines up, like you just said, if they show fear to Haaland will run them ragged. Simple as, because that's what he likes to do, don't he? He likes to run behind them, run whatever, and run them ragged. And if Dyer and Romero and Longley are not at it tomorrow, which they should be, like you said, 3-1, it shouldn't be a problem because you just mark him, get him out of the game, and De Bruyne out of the game, the two players that mainly, I mean, I'd be more worried about De Bruyne than Haaland, to be fair. But I've said it at the beginning of the show, it's Dr. Tottenham, isn't it? But I think Kane will cause more problems to their defenders than Haaland will. That's my opinion. You said, and I think you agree as well that.
Yes, but remember that City dominate possession.
Yes.
So we have to play in transition. So Harry Kane will be in a low block at a lot of the times. He will be in that 4-5-1. That 3-4-3, which then becomes like a 5-3-1 or 5-4-1 as such, because then the two wide players kind of drop in when the wing backs have gone back. So we have got a potential to play that low block. And and people say, "Oh, the football's been put." I want to see boring football tomorrow. I want to see us just not. I want to see. This is just like tight. There's not much space. But I have a feeling we're going to have an open game here tomorrow, and there's going to be a few goals in it. We shall see. History's proven that there's goals in this tie against
exactly. So without further ado, we shall go to the score predictions. Sean, I know you're in the house. Can you please give us your prediction as well? David Clark has given us 2 predictions. I'm going with my predictions with the premises that Bentancur and Kulu play. 2 scores with them, 1 without them. With them, Man City 3, Spurs 2. Without them, without Bentancur, Man 4, Spurs 0. So
he didn't even give us a draw or a win in either of them. David, you're dark, man. That's
David,
cold.
feel it. Without Bentancur,
he's cold, man.
If Kulu and Bentancur play, we're going to lose 3-2. But if only without Bentancur, we lose 4-0.
We're going to lose 4-0.
Yeah.
I'm not quite as harsh as that, but I'm going to, yeah. Okay,
Go on,
let's
Sam.
do it.
Let's do it.
I really think, if Conte motivates these players and these players look at this and think, right, City have got the same points as us in the last 5 games. They've lost 1, drawn 1 in their last 2 home games. So it's not like they're banging in 4 and 5 at home. So we take that as a positive. It does depend on who starts. He's quite right in what David's saying. If Bentancur's playing, if Kulusevski's playing, as a minimum, they're both definitely starting.
Yes, because Conte has said that Bentancur is ready and he's going to be, and Kulu's playing. So he's saying they're both ready. So
right. So going back to the point, if we play the right way, and I'm going to have to go back to the point we're playing a 3-4-3. I'd like to see a 3-5-2 and pack that midfield with Bissouma, Bentancur, and Højbjerg. I don't think it's going to happen. But I'm like David, depending on who plays tomorrow, who starts.
Yeah.
My heart, I'm not going to go with that now. I'm going to go a bit more ahead. And I think a draw is a possibility because of the fact of the form that City have had, the fact that Conte probably likes to play against Pep to test himself, to show that he is that. So he's got to be motivated tomorrow. And we might be a bit of a bogey team for him. 2-2.
2-2.
Desmond.
Oh. Desmond 2-2. Who's scoring for us then?
I think we're going to get a set piece goal tomorrow. I think that's one of the areas which we can take advantage. I don't know if City are the best at defending set pieces. They're not the biggest team in the world. We've got a fairly big team, and we have been good at set pieces in terms of corners, apart from when Son takes them. So Son can't take the corners, get Perisic to take him. We might score a goal from that set piece. I'm going to go with, as much as he's not done that much recently, Dyer to score 1 and Harry Kane. There you go.
Dyer and Harry Kane.
Dyer from a corner, Harry Kane. I don't care how they score. I don't care who scores. It could be 2 own goals. It could be that fan that jumped and kicked bloody Ramsdale in the back. If he plays and he can score, I don't care. I'm not bothered. As long as we can bloody get a result there, I don't care.
Fine. Kevin Murray saying, Son plays, we're gone. Richarlison, Kane, Kula 2-2. Okay, so he's basically wants Richarlison, Kane, and Kula 2-2. David Clark is saying we lost 2-0 to Aston Villa. To Aston Villa. At home. Come on, please.
Aston Vanilla. That's a win. What's
Vanilla.
David, you got some serious drink in your house because you coming up with some crackers. I can't wait to be off dry January because I'm going to join you. Because that's quality. I like that Aston Vanilla.
And you know what? He's gone with Aston Vanilla, and guess what? Davey's been ice cold, baby.
That's cold, man.
Ice cold. Right, our very own Sean is saying 2-1 to Manchester City. Harry Kane. Sorry, guys.
Is what it is. I know how you feel, Sean. I know you've been positive. You've been positive. You was even championing Lloris when we was giving Lloris a bit of grief, and now I think you've actually seen now maybe someone's seen the light because I saw that fucking light a long time ago.
With someone anyway. Right, my prediction, right, is this. You know what? It's an interesting one purely because what you said, Sam. We've not lost to them at their stadium in the last 2 meetings. They've lost in the Carabao. They lost in the Carabao Cup. They've lost to Man United, right? And now they're coming to us. So they won't be that confident. We're not going to be that confident. So it's a battle of two teams who are not confident at all. And what's going to happen tomorrow is before the game starts, apparently they're having a catwalk in the middle of the pitch from the tunnel to the catwalk. And it's going to be a catwalk off between Son and Haaland. Because at the moment, you see them pictures of Haaland this week?
He looked very feminine. Yes. Put it that way.
So I believe they're both going to do a modeling catwalk down the platform onto the middle of the pitch. And whoever does the best one, his team's going to win. Obviously, he's going to have his boss one on. So Son hopefully will boss the game. But I think it's a tricky one. I honestly think it's a tricky one. All this season, I've given Spurs the benefit. Right?
You know what I do like about Pep is that he will make changes according to how he sees it. He won't just play a player. The only player I think that he looks at and thinks, De Bruyne. If I was him, every single time De Bruyne says I'm fit to play, he's playing first on the team sheet, in my opinion. As probably Rodri as well. What's the left back's name? Cancelo. He's probably the other one.
Yeah.
But they can rotate in. So he could even drop Haaland tomorrow and go with a false 9 because they could do that. But I don't think they will. Because he wants Haaland to be the man. So the more he plays him, the more opportunity he gets to score goals. He scored 3 hat-tricks already this season in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Let's not make it 4.
No. I've just been informed by my son that Elise has scored a 90th minute absolute banger of a free kick. Absolute banger, apparently.
1-1, is it? Is it 1-1?
1-1, yeah.
I don't know what I'm clapping for. That means the Gooners are like, well done.
Yes.
I don't know what I'm clapping for. And I don't know what I'm clapping for because if we win tomorrow again, that puts them Gooners in bad situations.
All the signs are there for them, mate. All the signs are there for them. But going back to my prediction, I think it's all about the team tomorrow. It's who he plays. If Bentancur plays, if Kulu plays, if Romero plays, Lloris plays, if Kane plays, Son is on fire. I don't know. It's going to be a very, very tough game. I've gone with my heart all season. Yeah, I've gone with my heart all season. And I honestly think, and Sean said it, and whatever, as much as I would love to, we're going to get beat 3-1. We're going to get beat 3-1 because you know what? All season, I've been giving Spurs credit, and they've been giving us absolute nothing, right? Absolute nothing. And if there's one team tomorrow that you do not want to not start off well against, is them lot, because they'll just pass us off the pitch, and they've got a machine or a robot, as everyone calls him, who can score goals. They've got De Bruyne, they've got Mahrez, they've got Silva, they've got Foden, they've got Grealish. You know what I mean?
You see, for me, the players that I don't want to see playing for City, in terms of the ones that could potentially not be playing, because De Bruyne is going to play regardless. We know that. If he's fit, he plays. But is he going to play Jack Grealish on one side and Mahrez on the other side? Is he going to play Foden on one side? Is he going to play Alvarez? We don't know what that's going to be. And I would rather I'd rather not see Grealish and Mahrez start, because both those players want to carry the ball. Now, we saw what Saka did to bloody Sessegnon at the weekend.
Exactly.
I don't have much hope also on the left-hand side if Jack Grealish is up against Doherty or even Emerson, because none of those two can defend that great.
Yeah.
So in those wide areas, the 1v1s are very, very key, because if they get skipped, the next thing is it's going to be ball into the box. Now, this is where the back three have to be switched on all the time, because they are looking for Haaland every single opportunity.
Yeah.
Every opportunity.
This is it. And let me tell you now, if I see that sheet at 7 o'clock and Sessegnon starting at left back, I'm not watching the game.
Yeah, I'm done. I think actually, you know what? If we see that, then I know that he's chucked the towel in.
Yeah,
He's basically chucked the towel in and said, "I don't really care."
and
If he starts Sessegnon,
no, go on, carry on.
If he starts people like Sessegnon after the game that they had,
yeah,
as I said, even to me, there were so many bad players in there. You can't really pick out a lot of good things out of the game. Sessegnon shouldn't start tomorrow. In my opinion, Son shouldn't start tomorrow, but he's going to start. So again, people don't calm down. I'm not saying that Son, Son, you might want to. He's been one of our best players, but at this moment in time, he's not. Why can't he start Brian Hill? Because what I'm saying is, if you start Brian Hill and he doesn't perform well, Conte will take him off. He will take him off. If you start Son and Son doesn't play well, he won't take him off. Simple.
And I think this kind of a game against Manchester City is or could be the making of Gil, because they will give him that opportunity to play. Yeah. And I think Gil could be the player tomorrow to come on or start instead of Son, and he could produce, because City don't like them kind of players, because they give you the time. They give you all the time in the world to play.
Well, they press you, but they're not overly physical. Exactly. What Gil suffers from is the physicality. We saw that he's got the feet and the ability. If he plays against City, I would expect him to have a really good game, because they're not going to be physically trying to chop him down. They're not going to, he might be up against Kyle Walker. He might be up against whoever plays right back for them sometimes, because Kyle Walker played centre.
Kyle Walker or that.
I can't remember his name.
The young lad.
But anyway, either or, Kyle Walker's quick. He makes mistakes. So Gil could actually take him and, make him look a bit silly at times. But, I don't know if that is going to be a scenario, because I don't see Gil starting. But I really hope, all I want Conte to do tomorrow is show me that he hasn't thrown the towel in. Yeah. And the team selection will definitely tell us that.
Take that. Yeah, exactly. I just want them, like you said, Sam, I just want them to turn up tomorrow, have a game of football, give 150%, all of them, and just play for Tottenham and play for the fans. If they don't want to play for Daniel Levy, whatever, I don't care. Play for the fans that are going to be travelling up to Manchester, and play for yourselves and for the team as a team, and try and get a result. That's all I'm asking.
In effect, there should be less pressure on, because it's away from home. We seem to have got a better away record. Our home record is not good. We should have made that fortress. But could that be down to the fans? Could that be down to the players not making the fans, have any enjoyment? Because we've been to the games this season. It's not been the most enjoyable place in the world, has it, to watch football?
Exactly.
And to be able to make our home ground a fortress, they have to show us what they're capable of doing. And we've seen it. I don't know if we haven't seen it. So again, tomorrow it could be a real turning point for both teams. If City, let's say City go on and smash us, I think they're really going to ramp up the title race on Arsenal. If we then go and beat City, it just makes us at least in that race for the top four. And you never know, we could have a back end of the season like we had last season. Other teams are going to have their wobbles. I'm still saying that Arsenal are going to have a wobble. Whether that falls off into the abyss, probably unlikely. But look where Liverpool are. Look where Chelsea are. You've got Newcastle in that top four. You've got Manchester United, who were pants before Christmas, going back to around about September time, when they lost to bloody Brentford with 4 goals. And it was in the first half or something like that.
Yeah, 4 goals.
Everybody was telling me that Man United are never going to be able to come back from that. Look where they are now, because they've got results. 5-6 games on the trot, that can send you way, way up the league again.
Totally agree. Good Beats International, good evening. Our fans at home have been dog shy. The support is shocking, bar a couple of games. Totally agree with you. And Sunday was even worse. I thought on Sunday, the fans would have been up for it, but they weren't. So
I admit I was part of that as well, because I was up for it. And then as soon as he made the mistake, this is my seat. I went,
I think the whole ground went.
I looked next to me. Everybody was like that, because we all knew That's a sign of things to come. We ain't winning this game if we're making mistakes like that.
That's it. Right. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us in the comment sections. Thank you for all your comments as well. Hope I went
much
through
for a quick
one
show,
of them.
Sid. So much for a quick show.
No, innit? 55 minutes. This is the problem, innit? This is the problem. Thank you, Sam, for joining for the preview show.
You're
I know
welcome,
we'll give you half an hour, but unfortunately,
we can't do it, can we?
we can't do it. We try and do it because you're so passionate and you've got so much to talk about. Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I hate to say it, but this is a real turning point in the season for us. Get it right. We could, because the games after this, I know we've got to play City again, and I know we've got some Fulham, and that's not going to be an easy game, as we've seen. Crystal Palace against Man United to prove that we dealt with Palace, but that's one of our better days. Final thoughts are, please show us. Sean said it in the last one. Show us some passion. Show us that you actually want to, even if they don't play the best. As I said, we still need a result. So I'm not with this play really well and lose, or play really bad and lose. We just need to get a result. So for me, turn up Spurs, turn up Conte, but be effective. If you go a goal down, don't wait till 67 minutes, 43 fucking seconds to make a first substitution. Please.
Exactly. I'm with you, mate. I just want them to turn up tomorrow. Pep's already thrown in the towel, hasn't he? After the Man United game, he said, we're out of the running, not bothered about the Premier League anymore. If that's the case...
Who said that? Pep?
Pep said that, yeah. He said, that's it. He said, I'm not bothered about the Premier anymore. Arsenal are going to win it. We got to concentrate on the CL. So if he's thrown in the towel, right, then
I've never heard that. That's depressed me even more. Sorry.
We should be going there and not throwing the towel and just take it to them and say, you throw the towel in, not a problem. Let's give it to them. So let's see what happens. I mean, it's like you said, whichever Tottenham turns up tomorrow, I hope it's a good Tottenham that hasn't lost.
You know what? I don't. It's not a conspiracy theory, because Pep's professional. He's not going to let Arteta win the league.
No.
But what I would say is, he wouldn't be overly fussed if Arsenal won it, as opposed to Man City or Liverpool or Chelsea. If Manchester United were above City, do you think he'd say he's throwing in the towel? Fuck no, he wouldn't have thrown no towel in. If Liverpool was above City with this amount of games left to go, do you think Pep would say, I'm throwing a towel? Fuck, they've clawed back 11 points with less games in this. Yeah, so I think F off Pep, man. Come on, don't be doing that. I think it's the heat of the moment. He got beat in a Manchester derby by your rivals. I think he just said it in the heat of the moment, because they're not winning the Champions League anyway. And I think he just said it in the heat of the moment. But you know what? We've done an hour. Enough is enough. My final thoughts, like I said, is I just hope they turn up tomorrow and give Man City a good game and give the fans something to be proud of and make themselves proud. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show, and it's good evening.